Germany, Part 1. When I was at school, the French teacher used to correct me every time I made a mistake. So I was afraid to open my mouth because I knew before I had said 3 words, she would stop me to correct me. And because of this, I couldn't even read in a foreign language, any foreign language, without stuttering. And I felt I would never be able to speak any foreign language. Then I ended up going with a group of students to Germany and to East Germany in 1965, in the middle of the Cold War. The Germans, we went as volunteers and we worked with young Germans, but hardly any of the Germans spoke any English. So if I was going to communicate, I had to learn to speak German. One day we had been out in the evening and I wasn't sure of the way home. We were staying at the Deaconesses' Hospital, which was called the Diakonissenhaus. And I plucked up my courage and said in my best German, "Where is the Diakonissenhaus?" The girls, I asked, laughed and pointed down the road. The Diakonissenhaus was just in front of us, about 200 meters away. So how did I get to Germany? This is the long story. During the Second World War, the German Air Force bombed some British cities. They also bombed the city of Coventry, and that was the worst air raid so far. In one night's bombing, over 800 people were killed, and they bombed the cathedral. The morning after the bombing, some of the cathedral staff went to the bombed cathedral to see how bad it was. And they said, "We shall rebuild." And our rebuilt cathedral will become a centre of reconciliation. Someone wrote on the wall, "Father, forgive," which meant, Father God, forgive all of us for what we do to each other. It didn't mean just forgive the wicked Germans for what they have done to us. Someone took 2 charred beams which had fallen from the roof. Charred beams, burned beams, and tied them together to form a cross. And that cross was in the ruins of the old cathedral, certainly the last time I went there. Someone else took 3 long nails which had held the roof together, and out of those 3 nails he made a cross. And this Coventry cross of nails is famous as a sign of reconciliation, and they have presented it to places which are centres of reconciliation all over the world. During the war, there was a brave German lawyer who risked his life to save Jews and get them out of Germany. Sometimes he provided papers so that they could leave legally. Sometimes he helped them to leave illegally. And sometimes he despaired because there were people he wasn't able to help who were sent to concentration camps, and most of them were killed. He also protested against the euthanasia program for physically and mentally disabled people who were sent to different hospitals where they were killed because the government said they were useless eaters. After the war, he said, "None of us who have survived the war can claim that we don't share in the guilt of the German people for what our people have done." Anyone of us who has survived has made compromises, and thus we share in the guilt of our people. So he said, we must send young people who didn't play any part in the war to countries which Germany has hurt, and they must ask for forgiveness in the name of the German people and ask for permission to build something as a sign that there are German people who have repented of what we have done to others in the war. So they sent a group of young Germans to Coventry. They worked voluntarily for no pay. Maybe they had pocket money, I don't know. And under the ruins of the old cathedral, they built an international centre as a place where people from different countries could meet and become friends and learn to understand and love and respect each other instead of fighting each other.